This might be the last year that we see the umpires vote for the Brownlow Medal. Let's talk about it. So the Brownlow Medal just happened overnight, and it was a wild, wild vote. Now, I want to get this out of the way straight away. Congratulations to Matt Rowell. I thought he had a really good season. I didn't think he had a, you know, Brownlow Medal 39 vote winning season. But alas, he is the 2025 Brownlow medalist, the second son in history to win the Brownlow Medal. I think going into this game, Sportsbet or someone had him at like $51 odds to win, or it was something ridiculous. It couldn't have been that, but I think I saw that somewhere. It was ridiculous. But he is your winner. Now, as a Collingwood channel, as a Collingwood supporter, of course, my heart goes straight to Nick Daicos, and always the bridesmaid and never the bride. He really should have 2 or 3 Brownlow medals. 2023, we know what happened. He gets, injured in that Hawthorn game with his knee. Lockie Neal steals a bunch of votes. Even off Bontempelli. That could have been a Bontempelli Brownlow year as well. Nick was never going to win it with the amount of games that he didn't play because of that knee injury. Last year, he has 38 votes and would have won the Brownlow every single year, but Patrick Cripps has 45 votes, and it was a 3-vote Patrick Cripps game. And now this year, Nick finishes second with 32 votes. He was predicted to have about 35 votes. I think in my prediction, I said 31 votes probably wins it. But Matt Rowell had 39 votes. Now, Nick Daicos is the fastest player to 100 career Brownlow votes. That is absolutely nuts. He's only 22, and he's been in the top 3 for the Brownlow the last 3 seasons. That just says a lot about what he can do as a player and just how good he actually is. And, I guess you can say that some of these other players must be better. So Nick has averaged in the last 3 seasons 33 votes a season, and that would have won him the Brownlow all but 6 times in the 33 votes in the Brownlow's history. He went into this Brownlow as a favorite, went into last year's Brownlow as a favorite, and I think was 23 he was a favorite as well. Probably not all 3 years he was favorite, but definitely this year and last year. But at the start of the video, I said that this will be the last year that we see umpires voting. Because I just believe that. It was a crazy, crazy year for, why does this player get 1 vote here when they should have got 3? Why does this player get 0 votes here when they should have gotten 1? Or why does this player get 3 votes here when they should have gotten 0? Nothing says that more to me than Nasiah Wanganeen Milera against Melbourne. So in that game, Naz was the highest rated player on the ground, had got 34 disposals, 4 goals, 9 score involvements, 6 clearances, and 2 of those goals came in the last quarter. I think 2 of those goals came in the last 5 minutes. He got 2 votes. Jack Viney, with 23 disposals, 8 clearances, and 1 goal, had 3 votes, and he was the 7th highest rated player on that game. And you can see from the reactions that it just didn't make any sense.
St Kilda and Wanganeen Milera, 2 votes. Melbourne, Jay Viney, 3 votes. North Melbourne, Geelong, M.
Now, this was a bit of a theme throughout the day. So if you want to look at Matt Rowell's game, so he polled 11 Brownlow votes across 4 games where he didn't poll a single coach's vote. We always talk as fans that the coach's vote and the players' MVP votes are the ones that mean more. And you can clearly see why, because look at this, right? So in round 4 against Adelaide, Rowell had 17 disposals, 8 tackles, and 8 clangers, 0 coaches' votes, 3 Brownlow votes. Round 7 versus... And Jordan Dawson didn't even get a vote in that game, or 3 votes in that game, and he was the highest rated player on the field. Phil Thorpe kicked 5 that game, didn't get a vote. Round 7 versus Sydney, 16 disposals, 10 of those were clangers. So only 6 of those disposals were good disposals, 3 Brownlow votes. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And the same can be said for Noah Anderson. I thought Noah Anderson had a better season than Matt Rowell, only finished with 25 votes. He was projected to go into the 30 vote category. Same with Jordan Dawson, the 30 vote category. Now, why I think that the umpires shouldn't be voting for the Brownlow is based on a couple of things. Like, yes, am I upset that Nick didn't win the Brownlow? Of course, I'm upset that Nick didn't win the Brownlow, but he won the Players MVP, and I would argue that that's better. But I think the integrity of the Brownlow is just getting worse and worse, and I don't want this to take away from the fact that Matt Rowell won. I think he's a worthy winner, right? Is he a 39 vote worthy winner? I don't think so, but I think he is a worthy winner. But what I mean is these umpires, they've got so much to do during the game. They've got to, there's four of them, right? They've got to get these holding the ball calls, these throws, these pushing the back. Their minds are just going 100 miles an hour. Why do we let them then at the end of the game, when they've got all these other things to worry about, a crowd of 90,000 screaming at them and booing them? Why do we then go, okay, you're not allowed to see the stats. You're not allowed to see the replay. You're not allowed to see anything. What are your votes? And they go, oh, I think this player and this and this. I guarantee you in those games with Rao getting 3 votes when he didn't even get any coaches' votes, they were probably thinking of Noah Anderson or another player. But Matt Rao was the one that stuck in his head. I remember last year as well, there was a game, I think it was the Melbourne game, where Nick Daicos had not a bad game. He had a good game, but Josh Daicos had a 3 vote game and he had a really great game. But Nick got the 3 votes and Josh, I think, got the 2 or the 1, where it definitely should have been reversed. And I remember saying it then that they definitely just got them mixed up. And I think there needs to be some sort of panel or the commentators who are watching the game and they've got all their stats and writing it down. They should be the ones that are voting on who wins the Brownlow, because it's just becoming a joke right now. And I know that this is a bit reactionary, and it's probably, this video probably doesn't happen. Oh, it probably does happen if Nick does win the Brownlow. There would have been some controversial votes if Nick did still win the Brownlow. I probably would have made not a whole video about it, but yeah, it is a little bit reactionary. But you can see why. Like, you look at the discourse on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, it's all saying, everyone's saying the exact same thing. No one wants to take away from Matt Rowell's moment, right? He is a deserving Brownlow medal winner. But when you're polling votes in games where you're not having a good game, when you're polling 3 votes in games where you're not having a good game, I think it just calls into question the integrity of the umpires, um, and why I think that they shouldn't be voting for the most prestigious award. And you can even see even the Naz thing when he got those 2 votes, everyone's like laughing and really awkward. And they don't really know what to do. Even they know that it's absolutely cooked. Now, if you look at the other side, at Noah Anderson, who I thought had a better year than Rao, round one versus West Coast, 36 disposals, 9 clearances. He had 8 coaches' votes in that, no Brownlow votes. Round 10 versus Hawthorn, 35 disposals, 1 goal, 12 clearances, 10 coaches' votes. So both coaches thought he was the best on ground, 0 Brownlow votes. Round 15 versus GWS, 42 disposals, 2 goals, 7 clearances, 9 coaches' votes, 1 Brownlow vote. How does any of that make sense? And there was a bunch more throughout the day with different players, and these are the ones that kind of are just standing out, and the articles are sort of written about it. But I do believe that the umpires should not, from here on in, should not be voting for the Brownlow medal going forward. Now, do I think Nick Daicos was robbed? I don't think Nick Daicos was robbed, because he did poll really, really well. 31 votes. Like I said, he was 32 votes. He was supposed to go at about 35 votes, so only a 1 game, 3 votes away. So I don't think he was robbed. I think that's some of Matt Rowell's votes are just a little bit questionable, but that comes back down to the umpiring standards when it comes to voting, and the AFL not letting them see the stats. And I know stats don't mean a lot. You can have 42 disposals, or look at the stats for that Rowell game. 16 disposals, 10 of them were clangers, and he still gets 3 votes. So I know stats don't mean a lot, but they definitely do mean something, and they could spark something in your mind saying, oh, yeah, he did do X, Y, and Z during the game. And now I can see it here. Like, why do I think giving 3 votes to a guy that had 12 disposals is good? You know what I mean? So there just definitely needs to be a shakeup. And maybe this is something that Greg Swan can look at. But anyway, those are my thoughts right after the Brownlow. Let me know yours down below. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until then, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.